capital. One of the reasons businesses fail oftentimes is that they're undercapitalized. But that said, you can pick and choose the right type of business like you have and start with less capital.
Right. And
you know,
maybe grow into it.
Grow into it. You know, maybe you'd like that nice new restaurant someday and you might have that. But, you know, right now you're, you know, I don't know. You know, I like your concept so much too, though, where you have, you know, the reusable, and it's just so earthy, and I think that feels so good. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's comfortable to me anyway.
Yeah.
I like to walk in there.
It is. Well, that's what you have to have too. And it's got great art.
Yeah.
Especially now, that's my husband's piece up. So, well, we'll let you get back to work. But like I said, when you have something new coming up, we'll have you back. And
yeah.
we'll talk some more.
I mean, we didn't get to even talk about the bookstore because it's kind of a little bit unrelated. But
I thought about that, but I think that would be a good
later,
thing.
You know?
Yeah, or even just, you know, we talk about, you know, some possibilities of the venture, and yeah, I think that's interesting too. So, hello, this is Joan with the Joan Jerkovich Show, and we have a guest that I'm sure you're going to want to listen into because he's here to talk about being a tattoo artist and body piercing at his shop here in Salinas. His name is Jimmy, and he's here with his wife, Melinda. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So glad you came in. So tell me again the name of your store.
Supercharged Tattoo.
And you are where?
1208 South Santa Fe.
Okay, good. And we were just talking a minute ago, and of course we do this on video, so you can go to joanjerkovich.com. Poor Melinda's like, oh, I didn't know I was going to be on camera today. But of course we're going to enjoy kind of having people tune in there and see some of your tattoos as well. So you've been here how long?
A little over 4 years.
And you were saying you came to Salina from where?
I was tattooing in Lawrence in Kansas City.
In Lawrence in Kansas City? Is that like where you grew up?
No, I grew up, was born and raised here in Salina.
You were? Okay. So you graduated from what high school?
Central.
You did? Okay. Do you want to tell us what year that was in case all your Facebook friends want to find you?
98.
98. Super. So, well, let me tell you, I have had a real good time trying to research tattoos and body piercing. There's so much information that I've learned, and you guys are the experts, so we're here to talk about that. But I was finding on Wikipedia that in January 2008, a Harris Interactive online survey said that 14% of all adults in the U.S. have a tattoo. What would you say that relates relative to our community?
No, I don't think it's nowhere near that level.
Yeah.
I think it's way higher than that.
Yeah, because if we had 14% of our 40,000 population, we'd have quite a few people running around town. But you have a steady stream of customers, you said.
Oh yeah, we've got people that come in for their first tattoo at 80 years old.
Really?
People that are there every 2 or 3 weeks.
Really? Getting a new one or getting a bigger one? Because don't you do those in stages?
Oh yeah.
And you are the primary artist there?
I am the only one there
You're
right
the
now.
only one there. Okay. And, you know, I thought it was also interesting how tattoo, the history of it, some military organizations, you know, gangs. Have you ever had any gang people come in?
Oh yeah, we do a lot of old gang affiliation cover-up.
Oh, cover-ups more.
To get rid of them.
Okay.
You know, they want to be out of it for whatever reason, and we want to make everybody happy.
Well, then what would your stance be on if you knew it was a gang symbol and they wanted you to put it on?
I won't do it.
You have your own ethics or morality that you, because you're obviously a family man. You have a little boy that came into the studio with you, so.
Yeah, we don't do any gang affiliation of any kind of racial. I don't do white pride, brown pride. It just, I'd rather stay plumb away from all that stuff. You
bet. I don't know if it could even get you in trouble, but you have to then be pretty savvy to even know what those are, don't you? You have to kind of stay up on it. And
yeah, you got to kind of.
I mean, because somebody could come in and go, "Hey, I want this," and you go, "Oh, that looks cool."
We watch a lot of Locked Up.
Locked Up. That's great. That's great. Well, you know, and then, you know, it's so interesting, again, this goes back to the Roman soldiers had to have, by law, identifying tattoos on their hands so that if they deserted. Gladiators and slaves were tattooed because if they ever tried to run away, they had to have, in fact, they tattooed the slaves' foreheads saying, "Stop me, I'm a runaway," at one time, before that was outlawed. And of course, the Nazis tattooed the prisoners. Have you ever actually seen one of those in real life? Have you had somebody come in to cover one of those
City, I had an old guy come in that had
he was a prisoner in the
Jewish
Holocaust.
survivor.
Wow.
And he came in with his grandson to get tattooed, and he actually had some tattoos on his wrist.
And they look like those numbers you see,
Mhm.
where they were a number, they weren't even a person. Was there some emotional reaction or connection you had with this gentleman to come in and have you cover that over?
No, not really.
Yeah, because he could have gone for laser surgery to have it removed.
He was just old tattooed guy that just didn't
Yeah.
care.
Oh, okay. So I understand from Mike that was there at your shop that works with you that you do again have some people that come in, and probably a common scenario is the person who tattooed the boyfriend's name and broke up. Tell me about those stories.
It's called job security.
It's the curse.
Yeah.
Job security, so you get way more of those than we might realize.
I get a lot. I bet probably 2 or 3 name cover-ups a week.
2 or 3, that's your bread and butter. That's
Oh, yeah.
paying your rent.
That takes care
Oh
of
my
stuff.
gosh, yeah, because he was telling me that, of course, you know, one of the other things I talked about is, you know, people tattoo really crazy parts of their bodies. Are there areas you stay away from? Or are you kind of the be-all,
I'll tattoo anything
multi-service
but
tattoo artist here?
the male areas. Yeah.
You will do female, but not
Oh, yeah.
male. Okay,
Yeah.
well, hey, there you go. You know, you've got your standards, like we say here.
What
Well,
do
he
you call
was
that,
telling me you had a
standard?
female that had a tattoo in a fairly private place of a boyfriend with 2 eyeballs. You
Mhm.
probably remember the customer.
Yep.
Broke up with the boyfriend, so she had to have you go over the name. And so, what sort of creativity and artistry did you bring to that little project?
We did 3 flowers and some
Flowers.
vine work and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
actually, we were sitting with her husband at the bar the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Nice guy.
oh, so now she's married to somebody, so obviously
Yeah.
the old boyfriend tattoo has to get off
It had to
there,
go.
you know, we can't see
Ugh.
that. Yeah, that's pretty scary. So how did you actually get into this profession? Do you call it a profession? Do you call it an art? Do you call it a job? You know,
I
what,
call it whatever.
you call it paying the bills?
Exactly. I don't know. I got my first tattoo, and something struck me. You know, I'd always been an artist. I grew up
Yeah.
around a bunch of bikers. You know, I grew up in a biker family, and it just kind of always amazed me and always intrigued me. And got my first one, and it just kind of rolled downhill from there.
Downhill. But you know, you said something I think that's real important for us to hear, is you've always been an artist. Meaning, even at a younger age, you were drawing a lot, you liked to draw,
Oh,
you were
yeah.
pretty good at it maybe? You thought you were pretty good?
Some of it wasn't too bad.
Uh-huh.
You know, but yeah, I've always had a pen and paper in hand.
Mhm.
Can't remember really growing up without it. You know, I got only child and got bored real easy, I guess.
Yeah. So what kind of things did you like to draw, or do you like to draw, just as an artist?
I don't even know anymore. I don't do much drawing
You get
anymore.
enough of that with your job?
I don't
You draw.
take it home anymore. It just, if I'm doing a big custom piece, then I'll take it home so I can work on it for a while. But other than that, I like to leave it at the shop. I don't like bringing it home. It just takes too much time for my family.
Well, great, and you've got, you know, enough hours there. You're gonna. So what I hear you saying is you're probably one of those freehand or freestyle artists. You don't just do the stencil work. Or tell me some more about that, because I was understanding they call those a tattoo flash.
Yeah, we do a lot
Tell
of
me about
flash
a
work.
tattoo flash. What is that?
It's the pictures in the books on the
Okay.
walls and stuff like that that
Mhm.
some other artists already drawn up, and you just come in, hey, I like that one, cool, let's stick it on you. We do that.
Now wait a
we've got
minute.
lot
You
of there.
stencil it on somehow, and then you go over it to actually
And then actually
tattoo the
tattoo it,
color.
You know, we do have a lot of flash down at the shop that we use quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of good reference. There's a lot of great artists out there that have good flash out. Other than that, for the most part, yeah, I mean, we draw up probably 80–90% of what we actually do. I'd rather give somebody something that's going to be theirs and theirs only than
Right, very
you know,
unique,
somebody
very
else's.
original. Now, do you have a pricing difference for the ones, now, as a business owner, do you have to buy the flash art?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you have to pay for that, then is there a difference in the cost between something you do as an original creation, or is it all relative to size?
It's all based off
Artistry.
how long it's going to take me to do. You know,
Okay.
so if it's going to be a really highly detailed piece and
Right.
it's going to take me longer, it's going to cost more.
Mhm.
If it's going to be something really simple, then it'll be by that. You know, yeah, it all goes off how long it's going to take me to do it.
And then I'm understanding that, you know, you see these beautiful bodies that are almost covered, and both of you have a lot of large tattoos. You don't do those all in one sitting, is that correct,
Oh, no.
usually? I
Yeah,
mean,
you
first
get-
of all, the artist is gonna get tired, the person needs a break, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You break it into sessions. I usually like to run, 3-hour sessions.
And you do too.
Yeah.
You're okay with 2, that's your tolerance level. 3 hours is your tolerance level as an artist, but.
I can sit there and tattoo on somebody all day long. I mean,
Really?
it doesn't matter to me, but at a certain point, your skin just starts getting tired. It takes a lot out of your body to sit
Yeah.
that long. You know, like I sat one time for 10 hours. The next 2 weeks, I was sick as a dog. I felt like crap the whole time. You know, I had one huge scab on me. It just prolonged the healing
Oh,
process.
now you're talking about when you had
When
your
I
own
actually got
tattoo
tattooed,
done
yeah.
on your skin, you went 10 hours without a break.
Yep.
Okay.
And it just takes so much out of your
Yeah.
body to sit that long.
Mhm.
You know, 3 hours is pretty comfortable at that point. Everybody's usually leaving, you know, not completely whooped down, but doing okay.
Well, let's talk about the pain control. I'm a registered nurse, actually, so I think the reason I'd never have a tattoo is I'm scared to death of them. You know, I'm not scared of the sterility. I know you have to follow strict guidelines with that. I'm just afraid of the pain, because my understanding is the whole idea of what you do is you don't come in here taking anything for pain. You don't have a bullet to buy, you don't have a bottle of whiskey.
Well, I might, but
Oh, God.
no,
Yeah,
that's
you're
just
here
it.
trying to promote your business, not drive people away. My artist was a little drunk, so that line went over there. And
Yeah, we run a clean shop. I don't put up with drugs and alcohol in the shop,
yeah, that's good.
including from my customers. You know, legally by
Okay.
state law, if I believe you're under the influence, I cannot tattoo you.
Well, that's something I wondered about, because are you actually licensed?
Yes,
Okay, and what is the licensure procedure? Do you have to have certain qualifications?
you have to go through the Board of Cosmetology, and then you have to take a formal 1,200-hour apprenticeship. And then from there, if you can pass a written and a practical, then you become licensed in the state of Kansas.
Okay, so you actually have to do a written test, I would assume pass it with a certain proficiency.
You got to pass
Where-
with 80,
Yeah.
I think it's 80 or
That's
85%.
about right with most of those.
You know?
Where do you get the training?
You
Can
have
you
to
walk
do
in
it.
there and just do it, or do you have to go to an accredited
No, you have to go
program?
through a licensed trainer
Okay,
in the state of Kansas, and in order to do that, you have to be licensed and working in the state of Kansas for at least 5 years, and be able to have a written syllabus and pass a trainer's test.
right. And so are your renewals expensive? Don't you have to do that, or do you have to do continuing education?
We
like
have to
a
do
lot of-
continuing education
Mhm.
and renewals every
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
I wish they'd get a little more strict on it, just because 5 years, or I'm sorry, 5 hours a year, I don't think is enough continuing
Mhm.
education for a lot of people.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, we have to do that, and it's, I think with all the licensing we have down at the shop, it's like $300 a year.
Well, and then we were talking a little bit about pain control, and I'm really gonna wanna maybe address this again when we get into body piercing. They come in with nothing, right?
Nothing.
Okay, and not even some ibuprofen syrup?
Nothing.
That would be
A lot
me.
of time, stuff like
I
that
need general
actually makes it worse.
anesthesia.
And sometimes, a lot of times, it
It
actually
doesn't-
makes it worse.
It does? I wonder why that is. So, obviously no drinking, no drugs. If you see anybody under the influence, they're not gonna do it. And I understood from some of the reading I did that alcohol is a blood thinner.
Oh, yeah.
So people who come in having been drinking will bleed profusely.
They'll bleed a lot worse, and
Mhm,
it'll definitely make the tattoo more prone to needing touch-up, because you've bled so much and so bad.
Oh, but you're gonna find people like that just normally.
Oh, yeah.
You're taking aspirin or something, so you have to take precautions with that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I understood too, there's all this aftercare, like when they're healing and they're scabbing over, you can't pick at them because it changes the actual tattoo, the finished
Well,
product.
what it will do is actually your body will produce a new scab then.
Mhm.
And every time you bleed through there, you're pushing a little bit more of that ink back out.
Out.
You know, and so it starts creating light spots, and then
Okay.
you have to come back in and get it touched up again, and just,
Mhm.
yes, that's just leave it alone.
Yeah, because they get kind of blotchy looking then, but you can go back if that happens
Yeah.
and touch back up.
Oh, yeah.
And then what other sort of aftercare do they have to do? Antiseptics or?
No, just a plain, good quality hand lotion, and leaving it alone. You know,
Mhm.
washing it down, and make sure you keep it lubricated and moist, but not wet.
Hand lotion,
Hand
not like a
lotion.
Neosporin antibiotic, nothing like that?
Any of the petroleum-based products can plug up pores and cause
Mhm.
acne
Mhm.
issues and rashes, and
Mhm.
yeah, so just a good quality hand lotion is about the best thing out there, really.
Well, Jimmy, you're almost like a medical professional sitting here talking to me. You have to have a certain amount, you do, you have to have a certain amount of knowledge about dealing with skin and aftercare and infection. If people come in, I'm sure you know to refer them to their physician or whatever, and obviously how to take care of it so those things don't happen. So we've got plenty more to talk about, and we're going to be coming up on our next